Hello everybody, and welcome to another video tutorial. Today I'll be covering figures again, and I'm just going to take another step forward from what we did last time. This time I wanted to cover figures that weren't just directly straight up and down or in a very easy to manage pose, but using what we used yesterday to make more sense of it. So we're going to start with a curved pose. So normally, we started with a straight line one before. We're going to do a curved one this time. So we're going to do a curve like this. And we might not follow it super exactly, but we're going to try anyway. So, that might be too difficult to start. We'll see. So first, you got to draw your head because that's what we're going to get most of our measurements off of. From here, we can already tell that one shoulder line is going to go this way, and then the hips are going to go this way. So we already know that much information from this curve. The legs will probably not curve around this way. We probably won't do that just to make it easier. But we will know certain things. So we always follow this line, and then we're going to use the head measurement. So this is 1, and then this will be 2, this will be 3. This is where the belly button is. This is like the most important part for me. It might not be for you, but it is for me. And from here, this distance here to here is 4. And that's all we're going to worry about right now, because the legs can come a little bit later. We're going to just worry about the upper torso for now. Now, the reason I qualify this as very important, this third part, is because it's the thinnest part of the hips. It's also where all of the bending action happens, because that's relatively where the spine is on a person. So in this case, because it's going this way, this is going to be super curved, and this is going to be nearly straight. Okay? And that'll make sense in a second here. What we're going to do from here is we're just going to change the angle of the shoulders a bit so it's more down this way. We're going to make the shoulders 2 heads across, so we can just draw our square here and then draw like just a little bit, like a half square, and that's where roughly our shoulders will be, because it's about 1/3 down from the top in between the head. Anyway, so we can just draw the neck there, and then trapezoids. We'll make this a guy. All right, so this is where the shoulders are roughly. If you want to, you can draw circles instead to make it easier, especially when we're doing moving parts. And then from here, we're just gonna add like the chest line here, add the nipples if you want to, if it makes it easier. I find certain body parts make it easier to grab reference points from. And then we're just gonna fill in the hips. So the groin region and the hips. And remember, this might be a bit too thick, so we're just going to take that head and then we're just going to draw a square maybe. That's about the right distance. Okay, and then from here, the limbs are going to come out a little bit differently. So if we're going to follow this maybe straight down, or let's say, yeah, we're going to follow it straight down a little bit. Imagine this is the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1, so this, another head, so this is 5, 6, this is where the knee should be, 7, and then a half. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge that the figure is bent here. So what we're going to do is this is where the knee should be normally. Now, because this hip is lifted this way, we're going to have to bring this knee, this side of the leg, this knee higher, and this knee a little bit lower to balance it out. That's how it works. So it's usually finding the balance. But because we know the proportion of the knee is about here, we can always just adjust up and down a lot easier than trying to figure out as we go. So if I were to draw the leg here, and then the leg here, so this knee might actually be bent a little bit if we were thinking of it in super logical terms, but just to get the general feel of it, we won't worry about that just yet. And then we're gonna make this foot flat on the ground. This leg, the ankle will be a bit higher about here, and then maybe we can have that foot pointed a little bit. Yep. And then from here, so the belly button is where the elbow is, but because it's curved away, what we're going to have to do is make the elbow come a little higher here, and the elbow on this side a little bit lower. So then we just draw a line. If you want to recognize the elbow as a circle instead, that's perfectly fine. And then the hands usually come to about here on the thigh, but since this is higher, we're just going to come a little bit higher. and this one a little bit lower, almost to the knee level. Okay, and then that's how we can modify the form of, that's how we can use our knowledge before and make it very simple to modify a figure. And we can do this in all sorts of ways when we change where the hands are going or which way anything is going. I'm not going to worry about that too much yet because that's a little too much information. We'll take it step by step. We'll take it slow. So I'll do one more or a couple more if I have time. So what we're going to do is just draw a random curve. And I like, you can do these with reference, but I advise you to try these without reference first, so you have like a figure in mind, a base figure, and then when you go to look at references, you can compare that to your base figure, and then you can find your own methods as you go as well. I use the third head down as a really big focal point for me, but some people might take the shoulders, but there's no good relative measurement for me there. Or you could use the groin as like a halfway point, so you could even just be like here and here, and then that distance is about the same to the feet, if you really wanted to make it simple. But I also like knowing just a little bit in between, so that way my proportions don't go totally off. So this time we're going to curve this way instead. We can have the head sitting upright even. And then we can have the body doing some strange things here, as long as we remember to follow the line. So 1, 2, 3, middle, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Okay. And I'm doing this without measuring too accurately. I would advise that you use the pencil method. So from here, get your finger and just put it roughly. Don't be too exact about it because you'll be here forever, and that you will probably lose motivation to do stuff if you do it that way. So I'm rambling right now, so we'll just get into it. The shoulders are going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where the hips are. So it's always nice to define those points first, and then from here we can really exaggerate this side of the body, and then we can even just enunciate how curved, you know, by doing like a right angle basically. And then from here can just add, this is where roughly the chest line is. Maybe if we did a girl, we bring the breasts down slightly like this, and then here, and then we add the neck, and then the trapezoids, which would be lower if we're on a girl. And so with girls, you want to make a slenderer figure, and then from here, the groin area, and the hips. And you can always like see if it looks better thinner or looks better wider. It's up to you. That's what art is for, and so that you can determine things on your own. Maybe we'll have this leg sticking out and this one straight. So to do that, we're gonna have, we know the knee is roughly here, but the weight is gonna be mostly on this leg. So we can either keep this here and then lift this one, or we can just draw, actually we're gonna change it a little bit. So we're gonna just draw a curve here, and that'll make more sense in a second here. So we're gonna draw the leg here, the leg down here, and then the foot over here. I hope that makes sense. So this curve basically tells us as the leg swings, as long as we keep it close to this center line, we're gonna be fine. It's gonna look all right. And then we're gonna stick this leg out here. The knee is gonna be over here in the curve with this one, and then like this. Maybe the foot's doing this so that we're on the same plane. Maybe we'll even do something fun with her arm this time. So we'll just bring that up a little bit. So we just take this and we curve it round. That was how we can roughly find the elbow, that distance here. And then we'll rough it a bit. We can even just do a nice curve like this to find where the hand is. Like that. And then we can curve it around like this, and then maybe we put our hands on our hips like this, curve it round, and then from about here, curve it. Well, that one you'll just kind of wing it here, and then like that. Okay. You'll get a feel for the average proportions, and that's part of the fun. I'm running out of time. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.